Hey guys, and welcome back to another how-to video. In this one I'm going to be showing you how to remove and refit a new front and rear mech on a mechanical geared bike. Let's get into it. Now, to remove the front and the rear mech, we are going to have to take the chain off, remove the cable ends and pull them out of the housing. Now, we're replacing this on the assumption that your cables are fine. You may have to change your cables as well, but you'll be able to tell that by the state of them. If they are showing any signs of wear or rust, pull the cable cap off and then pull those cables out as well. But we're not going to have to do that. So with the cable cap removed and the cable clamp loosened, pull the cable out the back of the rear mech. Now, if you have a quick link, you can just break your chain. And have that off. If you don't, you'll need a chain remover so that you can push a pin out. So nice and simply, pull the chain back out through the mech. Now, most of the time, these are a 5mm. Sometimes they're a 6. And simply unscrew the rear derailleur from the gear hanger. Now, if you're having difficulty setting your gears, getting them to align, or they're skipping and you can't tell why, but you think it is your rear derailleur that's broken or faulty, when you remove it, a good thing to check is your gear hanger and frame. If there's any kind of play, any bend, any cracks or damage, it's something a little more sinister you need to be looking at. So let's check the gear hanger. Now, our gear hanger seems to be sitting flush in line with the frame. Don't seem to be having any issues. And there's no cracks down the side of the frame that would cause the bend. So let's go ahead and fit the rear mech. Unless you are upgrading parts and you know exactly what ratio you're going for and how it will fit, best bet is always fit the same that came off. So we've removed Shimano Altus 8-speed, and that is exactly what we're going to fit back on. And it is very simple. Everything you've just done, do the same thing in reverse. So all of our springs are working. The mech is holding tension. Let's get it fitted. Now we can rethread the chain under the first jockey wheel and then over the second one. And then, assuming that your chain came off in one piece and you have your quick links, just place those back in and refit your chain. Now your chain is fitted, you can rewire your gear cable. And the final step will be to cycle through those gears and see if the rear mech is working. So the mech is running freely and it's pulling through the gears, but it's not hitting all the gears and it's not coming down as it should. So that is a cable tension issue, an easy fix, and I'll show you how. On a standard rear mech, you'll have 4 things that can adjust your gear cable tension and alignment. That is your cable tension screw, your high and low gear limiters, and your B screw. So your B screw is for chain tension. We're not running too much slack. We're not slapping on the frame, so we don't need to touch the B screw. We are, however, trying to get into 8th gear, but the chain is sat in 7th. So the high limiter screw is pulling the rear mech too far in. So if we wind a spot of tension off of that and then spin the gears again, we should be going. So now we're getting into 8th. Our high limiter screw has the correct tension. However, trying to go back up the gears, we're not going into 7th. So we want to put a bit more tension into the cable so we can get that moving. Now we're struggling to go from 2nd to 1st. That'll be the low limiter screw pulling the mech too far in. There you have it. That is the rear mech replaced and reset. Now let's do the same thing for the front mech. Slightly different process, but realistically everything's the same. So on the back of the mech here is usually a 5mm, but sometimes is a 4mm Allen key to release the mech. So we're going to go ahead and release the cable. Sometimes, if it's time to change your mech, it's probably time to change the cables as well. But our cables are brand new, never used, so we're not going to worry about them this time round. So on the back of the mech here is the 5mm to release the clamp. You want to undo that all the way. And then go ahead and discard the old mech. Now usually the box that your mech comes in will have spacers unless you have a specific size. As standard, this one comes as 34.9, but we need one size down from there. The spacers will normally have these sticky pads on so that you can attach them inside. Makes it a little easier for yourself. So with the spacers set, we can go ahead and fit this on. If you do that back nut up hand tight so that you can twist the mech around so that it's flush and straight to where you need before doing it up fully. Then loosening off the cable clip and rethreading that through. Now the cable's rethreaded, stick the chain back on and then cycle through the gears . Using limiter screws where necessary to adjust. There you have it. You just changed your front and rear derailleur on your very own bike. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, leave a comment down below. If it wasn't, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you think I missed any steps or if anything needs some extra explanation. And I will see you all in the next one.